Mike Bernos has recently retired from a career in corporate communications and in public relations. In addition to being a well-known musician in our congregation, he has worked in an array of industries and in the political arena, authoring speeches and industry commentary, and scripting and producing corporate video. Mike is an award-winning writer who has contributed to Gannett News Service, USA Today, Christian Science Monitor, and ABC News. He will present his sermon titled, "The Child is the Father of the Man." Mike, the pulpit is yours.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you. I'd like you to know that I have given many sermons before, but none that have actually been requested. I like to think that this morning's talk is more of a reflection on the sublime arc of our lives. The 17th century English Romantic poet William Wordsworth wrote, "The child is father of the man." The line is found in his poem, Rainbow, and it sought to convey that who he was as a man had been shaped by his childhood, and that the positive and life-nurturing impressions deeply etched in his mind, in our minds at that time, will remain with us forever. He was not conceding to what every parent of a teenager already knows. The expression found its way into the zeitgeist of the late 60s when youth questioned authority in all its forms. In the Beatles song, "When I'm 64", Paul McCartney whimsically imagines himself as a doddering older man. Upon reaching that age, there you go. Upon reaching that age, I did Sir Paul one better and became a father for the first time, reluctantly. I include that effort because I never wanted to have children. In my adult relationships, when the subject of babies came up, I ran away faster than a rabbit from a Frenchman. I had been too self-absorbed with my existential angst. But in the moments following the birth of my son, Joaquin, I discovered a more personal, deeper meaning to the poet's words. That it would be my child who would grant me my most valuable life lesson. What we're most afraid of can be our greatest gift. Before that life-changing event, I believed, as Wordsworth did, that my childhood provided me a rich tapestry of memories that created the foundation to my compassionate, empathetic, driven life. My early adulthood read like a profile of a serial do-gooder. I managed Title 20 daycare centers in New Orleans, worked with migrant farm workers in Texas and Alabama, and advocated for the handicapped in Baton Rouge. Yet it was a cover-up for a life filled with self-doubt. Just as a comedian uses humor to hide the relentless pain of sadness, a pleaser pleases not out of confidence, but from insecurity. I sense that my childhood memories may have been glossed over, as neuroscience has revealed, to repress the not-so-happy, dysfunctional family dynamics that insidiously created within me shame, guilt, and a sense of inadequacy, all of which stemmed from my mother's death of cancer soon after I turned 10. Within every child, there's a little bit of Superman who believes that he or she could have done something different to prevent the loss of that parent. I was no different. In the early 60s, boys could trash talk about sex, but not their emotions. Grief counseling did not exist. At the Catholic funeral, I buried both my mother and my feelings. She was canonized while I remained behind, struggling with emotions of abandonment, inadequacy, fear, and anger towards God for his betrayal. Later in life, my issues of abandonment have rendered me mistrusting. My sense of inadequacy led me to judge quickly Anger became a trigger for blame, and fear mushroomed into ominous clouds of fear-floating anxiety. With my Catholic faith reduced to agnosticism, I slipped into my existential angst. Lucky for me, I had the gift of music and its therapy. It helped heal and chronicle my journey. The common thread that ran through Elvis, Lennon, Joplin, Springsteen, and other relevant songwriters is that they lived their suppressed lives through music. Yes, poetry can have the same therapeutic qualities, but songwriting adds the neurological power of music. We go to concerts seeking that emotional release. Musicians and poets trade in metaphor, allowing them to explain things in indirect ways and helping others to see that which they have trouble understanding. That reframing of a feeling or a perception also works reflexively and can often produce resolution to the songwriter's own emotional dilemma. And sometimes that epiphany can come years later through a song, as if suddenly you tuned in to a psychic channel heretofore unknown. So it was reconciling myself to my mother's death. I've dined in the garden at the table with a circle. With the apple in my hand, I left my guest unrepentant. And I've fallen so often, I know no caution. Yeah, you bear no grudge, and priest, seek your love. Maybe one day I'd come true. Maybe one day I'd come true. Maybe one day I'd come true. It was bigger than you, so I heard. And it ran through your blood like the wolves through the herd. And the doctor, he said, nothing much he could do. And the holy man spoke, speak the word, and you'll be saved. And all the while you listen for my voice in the hall. Maybe one day I'd come true. Maybe one day I'd come true. Maybe one day I'd come true. We are guided by our fates, and our fates by things unknown. Some say it's the stars in the heavens and the gods above. But I say it's love, the only thing I make sense of. If I've fallen short, blame blame it on my sins, not on my heart. Maybe one day I'll come true. Maybe one day I'll come true. Maybe one day I'll come true. I also had differences with my father, whose expectations I never felt I could live up to. Purgatory is the place between trying to please someone and rebel against him or her at the same time. It dawned on me sometime later in life that it is impossible to find your authentic self swinging on that pendulum. Thus, I never wanted to have children, in the belief I was unprepared to provide for their emotional and physical needs. As I spent most of my adult life adrift in a sea of existential miasma of my own making. The extent of my relationships in 2 marriages reached no farther than adrenaline-infused romances filled with projection and narcissism that I tried to pass off as love. But like cubic zirconium, it'll dazzle for a while, but eventually someone's going to call you bluff. And if you play this game long enough, you're going to be reduced to living in the shadows. If you want a glimpse into this darker side of this corrosive mistrust, listen to Springsteen's Brilliant Disguise, in particular the final verse. Tonight our bed is cold, I'm lost in the darkness of our love. God have mercy on a man who doubts what he's sure of. Eventually, through serendipity or pure luck, I met someone stronger than me. She reached down, grabbed a hold of me, and withstood the demons I unleashed till I lay exhausted and exercised on the floor. With my wounds exposed, her light and love began to heal me. I met you in the winter when my fields were so foul. And I met you in the winter when my rivers ran so shallow. Days were dark and long, like a poet's sad and empty song, where shadows come early on the windowsill and sit wild tide stand still. We planted seeds in spring when the earth seems to sing, and the blood-red rose it opens, sweet olive beckons in every grove. The mockingbird and jay chase the crows away. The gentle rains bring a sweet, sweet smell to the fields that grow so green. It's a new day, gone are the old ways. It's a new day. And while winter will come again with its dark and leaden skies, it's but a painting on the wall, a metaphor, that's all. Felt the baby moved this morning with the promise of tomorrow dawning, and the seeds of hope and love are lying beneath the snow of a winter's day. It's a new day, gone the old ways. It's a new day. Still, from the moment my wife announced that she carried our child, I slept in fitful nights of anxiety and near panic. The deepest of my self-doubts had been exhumed. This time there was no escape or excuses. I knew the only way out was to face my fears. And there really wasn't a choice. In the new emotional currency I traded, I wanted to return the love that had been given to me. On June 9th, 2015, at 4:34 a.m., Joaquin Andre William Bernos breached his way into this world. In the moments following his arrival, the doctor placed him in my arms. Amid his wails, his fearful eyes locked onto mine, and I experienced the most transformative moment in my life. Everything became crystal clear. All the fogginess of my existential conundrums dissipated like mist under the morning sun, giving way to the absolute clarity of my mission on this earth, to care and love for that little boy. Sure, there'd be other callings, but none as important as this one. And, in the language of Carl Jung, having my son turned out to be the most definitive act of my individuation. Had I succumbed to my fears, I would have remained a splintered and unhappy man, never knowing love on all its glorious levels. Perhaps Wordsworth tapped in to the collective unconscious and the wisdom of the soul when he wrote that line. And I am thankful that my child granted me a chance to be the person that I wanted to be. If I'm fortunate enough to live long enough to see my son grow into his own person, I'd be wise to listen when he tries to teach me. It is the great irony, isn't it? Boy on the pony is here, with his cowboy hat and chops. Not a trace of worry, 1963. The boy on the pony is me. My father holds tight to the reins, though he knows the pony is tame. As I grew to a young man, it was more of the same. The boy on the pony is me. Time moves on, leaving us to carry on with the lessons we learn upon the way. Who's to say what's right or wrong as we muddle through our day? Boy on the pony is you, with your cowboy hat and chaps, the same ones I wore years before. The boy on the pony is you. I hold on tight to the reins, though I know the pony is tame. It's a lesson I've learned time and time again. The boy on the pony, not me.